So in this video, we will see what if Naruto and Jean Grey of X-Men were couples. A crossover between Naruto and X-Men evolution. Here is short summary. Sometimes killing is the only solution and attacking the enemy, a better choice than waiting for them and letting them harm the world. Now without wasting any more time, let's begin the story. The shinobi world was filled with conflict at all times, no moment peace or reprieve from tragedies. Wars after war and the Fourth War had brought more destruction to the world than ever imaginable. It was destruction on a global scale, and countries had been erased from the map in the aftermath of the battle, but at last Kagaya had been sealed and the heroes could finally grieve in peace. But life was never so fair and it could always get worse. You know, this hurts me more than it does for you. I loved you, but all you could think was how to end me. I would have given you a chance if it didn't involve the world, but I have to make that sacrifice. I hope you understand, brother. Naruto muttered in a strangely calm tone as his hand pierced Sasuke's limbs and stomach with chakra hands as he looked on with shocked eyes. You will do great now, Naruto. Sasuke wanted to say but could only smile as his breath was lost. He knew that Naruto would now bring peace to this accursed world and kill every evil that this world had. He was sure because Naruto had maimed him with from behind and he knew how important he was to Naruto. Naruto held him close like he was hugging him when he heard a scream of grief. What have you done, Naruto? How could you? Sakura rushed at him and attacked in her grief, but today Naruto was not feeling so merciful and he slapped Sakura with controlled strength so she didn't die, but enough to knock her into the nearby mountain. Do you also think I was wrong? Naruto turned to Kakashi that approached him silently. No, you did the right thing. It is my fault, I was just not the right teacher for you all. Kakashi replied, feeling the guilt inside his heart at failing his students. Naruto looked away and took out the Rin Sharingan from Sasuke's socket and placed it on his forehead. This action was told to him by the sage along with the fact that Sasuke will try to kill him once he gets a chance. He didn't need to be told that as Naruto could feel the killing intent targeted at him, he wasn't that stupid to ignore any negative feelings towards him. The sage had decided to make him the new sage and stop the fight of generations by just giving him the power, but he knew that it would take time to adjust to it, so he gave Sasuke a chance. But the eye fused to him, Naruto released the world from the eternal illusion and turned to Kakashi. No one will know about what happened here. He will be revered as a hero for generations, is that understood? Naruto muttered in a matter-of-fact tone as he decided to walk away with Sasuke's unconscious body. 10 years went by like a fleeting dream, the world advanced at a rapid pace, and it was at peace finally. Just like Sasuke had thought, Naruto judged the whole world in one setting and killed everyone that was evil beyond a certain level. He was revered as the hero, and many feared him and hated him, but Naruto took it all. Naruto read and trained all the time, obsessed with learning and experiencing so that he would not make mistakes again. Naruto had felt a part of him die the day he realized that some people were just evil and that not everyone deserved a second chance. He had chained Sasuke down and made him his loyal servant. Using a seal on his heart, Naruto kept him on a leash, while Sasuke didn't mind as their goal was the same now. The Naruto that couldn't work with him had died that day, so he was very much happy at the result, especially because he had been right. Humans were selfish and everyone had their opinion, when opinions and desires clashed things could go wrong. But now Naruto stood at the top and everyone knew it, they knew punishment would be swift and merciless. Naruto was the leader of the world in everyone's eyes, but he took the post of Hokage after 2 years from the war and led the nations with Shikamaru, Sasuke and Kakashi by his side. Naruto believed his actions were right and that the cycle of hatred will break after talking with intellectuals and reading and wandering the world using his clones. There wasn't a place that he hadn't seen and he had witnessed things that reinforced his decision to kill. He developed his senses to higher level so he could tell if the person would actually change and more than he could do before as he could tell if a person had any remorse or regrets which would indicate that the person could change. He had achieved his dreams and the world was on the right track. The people loved him and would revere him for generations. Safety in life was the greatest under his control and no one could deny. Even though everything was done, there were threats in the shadows. Everything wasn't fine and dandy as Sasuke found secrets of the Otsutsuki clan on his journey across the dimensions of their immortal foe, Kagaya. She wasn't alone, she wasn't the strongest, and there was a clan filled with them. And they were most likely coming for this world sooner or later. The news was alarming to the extreme, even though Naruto had become strong enough to defeat Kagaya by the age of 20. Sasuke wasn't so far behind either, Hinata had gained the power of Tenseigan from the brother of the sage, and they had a new ally called Toneri with the same powers. They were stronger than ever, but the thought that Kagaya was not even one of the top tiers and that there were more of them put them in a dilemma. Naruto took the decision to free Kagaya. Using his powers he gathered pieces of each Bijuous chakra and combined it before breaking the seal and allowing the chakra to merge with the sleeping beauty. Black Zetsu had disappeared and seemed to have merged back into Kagaya as he had always been just a part of her mind. Kagaya awakened with rage flowing through her body as the defeat was all too fresh, but with her limited power, it was one-sided battle. But Naruto didn't subdue her like that and allowed her to regain all her strength to prove his superiority. Cursing his arrogance, Kagaya absorbed the energy from the world and reached her optimal state, but once again she was defeated. This time the battle wasn't so one-sided and took hours to finish, but Naruto subdued her and beat the madness out of her mind. She had never been evil according to the sage, so Naruto had taken the gamble to bring her real personality back into order. It wasn't easy, but the attempt was a success, but what they learned after this was even worse than what they had imagined. Otsutsuki clan was a clan of immortal beings from a higher level universe. They were one of the hardest beings to kill, and they were born with immense power. They had poor fertility rate, but there were at least 10,000 originals and some half-breeds. They were known as one of the strongest beings in existence with their inherent abilities. They had many different kinds of bloodline powers. They could pass all their power and knowledge to another clan member when needed. They could imprint others with a curse so that when they died, they would take over one of the bodies and resurrect. They were like parasites of the universe, especially because the clan harvested the life force from different planets across the vast number of universes. The clan didn't mess around with other big boys, and they didn't mess around with them, since the lives of some ants were of no concern to them. Otsutsuki clan members moved as a group of 2 along with the Juubi, and then they would plant the Juubi into the planet after it had eaten the weaker Otsutsuki. The Juubi was a seed that grew into the Shinju tree and bore fruit that granted the Otsutsuki clan member great power and abilities. The weaker Otsutsuki member would resurrect through a vessel, and they would enjoy the harvest while the planet was destroyed as the life force was drained. The Juubi can't grow properly without such a powerful source of nutrients, so it was necessary for an Otsutsuki to be fed, and later the roots would continue to suck on the life force of the planet and the people that fell in battle. Kagaya was the weaker one in the group and should have died like usual for her partner, but she had grown tired of seeing this scene. She had enough of innocent people dying. Yes, she saw these lower beings as people and not ants. It broke her heart and she betrayed her own clan, her partner. Her partner was called a Shiki, and she backstabbed him while he was taking a bath and relaxing. He would never have thought such a thing could happen, since the Otsutsuki clan was a tight clan, they never betrayed each other. Kagaya was an anomaly among them, and she succeeded in her attempt since the power difference between them wasn't too big. She was low-class normal member, and he was just high-class normal member. The rankings went from outer members, normal members, core members, elders, royal children and the king and his queen. Kagaya was literally at the bottom of the ranking and was taking a huge risk for outsiders. She sacrificed her own well-being and comforts for others. The Shiki escaped with extreme damage on his body and she chased him, he died, but she was sure he would one day resurrect from a vessel, so she prepared for that day. She fed his body to the Juubi and planted it into the world, but through the bond she programmed it so that it wouldn't devour the whole world. After that she brought peace to the world, but her limited strength and the fears inside her mind got to her, and paranoia led to madness. That led to the current situation where she was sure a Shiki would soon arrive and other 2 members from another group might check the area as it should have been decimated by now. Learning the truth about their situation would have drowned many men in disappear, but Naruto was not even affected by such negative thoughts. With confidence and determination he had Shikamaru and other gather to form plans for the future. They would ready the world to combat this threat and use every resource available for the goal. For this purpose the ultimate training plan was utilized and many fighters went through bloodline surgery to make them stronger. Naruto proved his mettle and the blessing of the sage showed its power. With the power of the 6 paths mode that allowed him mastery of chakra, Naruto learned all kinds of jutsu and made his own. Everyone grew at an accelerated rate with the help from each other and the fact that they didn't have to worry about the destruction they caused since the training was in Kagaya's dimensions. 7 years passed by since he awakened Kagaya and 10 years since the war. Naruto was 27 of age and had enjoyed 8 years as Hokage, but gave up the title to Konohamaru on this date as it was time for him to start his journey once again. They were not going to wait for the oppressors to come and kill them, they would find them and kill them one by one to give their world a fighting chance. They had already taken out a Shiki who had been hiding inside another dimension, but unfortunate for him, he hadn't imagined the Kagaya would be released, so he was taken by surprise when the team entered the Otsutsuki sanctuary that was used by Kagaya and a Shiki. He had few members, but they weren't worth a glance and were taken down immediately. While a Shiki was extremely powerful, they were lucky that they were a group or even Naruto and Sasuke together would have been killed. The battle was balanced, but Ishiki's vessel couldn't take his power since it was not a resurrection, but Ishiki's weakened body itself was still alive inside this vessel. The team barely managed to kill the vessel when he used his full power, and Kagaya neutralized his karma mark. She cut of his survival chances and let Naruto eat the fruit she made out of Ishiki. This was the gift from Kagaya to Naruto as she saw hope in the young man. But that fruit, Naruto had gained great power and knowledge, while all the strongest fighters had gained a weakened version of the Otsutsuki bloodline to strengthen their base powers. Are you really leaving alone? Kakashi asked as he stood behind Naruto. Yes, this world needs protection now that I am leaving. I am the strongest being in this world, so relax, even if I died by some chance I would wake up in a new vessel. Naruto stood at the top of the Hokage mountain and looked down at his city and reassured Kakashi and the others beside him. Hinata stood beside him, holding his hand tightly, conveying how much she was worried for him and her love for him, but this was something that needed to be done. Believe in me like you have always done, have I ever let you down? Hearing his words inside her mind, Hinata shook her head and bit her lips. I will always believe in you even if you don't believe in yourself, but I want to be with you. I want to walk with you, spend every moment with you. Won't you grant me this selfishness? Naruto had not expected Hinata to say such words and was speechless as he turned his head with a wide smile. Well, on second thought, I am taking Hinata with me. Naruto turned around with Hinata in his embrace and caused them all to shake their heads. If you were going to change your mind at the last moment, then why did you have to play the tragic hero leaving alone on a dangerous journey, asshole? Good, we don't have to worry about you overworking yourself now. Shikamaru muttered in a relieved tone. What do you guys think of me? Do I look so careless? Screw you guys, I won't be getting you any gifts. Naruto acted dramatically and teleported them to Suna, leaving only Sasuke. Are you taking me? Sasuke asked calmly as he looked at the man that ruled the world with an iron fist, the man that owned him and the man he acknowledged as his brother. I don't have the habit of S&M, so I will release you now. We have achieved our goal and you have never acted out of line. You have changed for the better. You have wives and children, a family to take care of. I believe in you, that's why I didn't kill you that day, and now I leave this world under your capable hands. The Gaia might be stronger than you, but she isn't combat savvy or smart, so battles will always come down to you and Shikamaru. Naruto replied as he let go of Hinata and walked towards his brother by spirit, hugging him close just like he had done to everyone close to him as death was real possibility. Naruto released the seal on his heart and let him free. Naruto had gotten the Rin Sharingan on his forehead, but with the Otsutsuki genes, Sasuke had awakened it in both eyes now. He was stronger than ever and could easily defeat Kagaya because of his skills, since pure power has never really affected their chances of victory unless it's too big. Don't talk like this is our last meeting, come back or who knows, I might go crazy again. Sasuke smirked as he slapped his back and let go. I will make sure to come back soon with good news, so keep my house clean. Naruto chuckled as he heard those words. It was just Sasuke's way of showing his affection, and with that the friends separated. But the thought a portal formed and Naruto walked into it with Hinata. Naruto and Hinata found themselves on top a tall building that was much bigger than any he had seen before and in a completely different style. He felt the world connect with him instantly as he had been keeping Sage Mode on all the time, but there was some resistance. This could be a result of them being outsiders, so Naruto didn't force it too much as time will solve the problem. Through it he sensed powerful life forces around the globe, telling him that there were strong beings on this planet, but none of them gave him the feeling of an Otsutsuki. They might be hiding in a pocket dimension. Was his first thought, and there was a need to check the information about this planet before moving on. The planet seemed to be surviving pretty well, so maybe they could help each other out, was his second thought. The humans are quite weak here and the world is smaller. It is also being polluted at a very high rate, guess I will help it out as it comes. Naruto thought as he started floating while turning completely invisible and intangible. I will need to learn the local languages to blend in. Naruto thought when his eyes landed a young man wearing a red and blue suit with a spider logo stuck to the walls of the skyscraper. Naruto decided he was a good choice as he seemed to have a good head on his shoulders and was a special being unlike the humans down below. Without a sign, Naruto approached Spidey and copied his linguistic abilities, but nothing else as he wanted to experience it himself as info from memories could be biased and incorrect. Hello, what are you doing? Naruto muttered, surprising Peter, who jumped to the side and looked around as he spotted Naruto standing on the wall. How did I not feel his presence? At least the spider sense isn't going off, so he isn't a threat. I am just hanging around to rest before I swing to help the people in trouble. What about you, stranger, what brings you to this place? Spidey asked in a jovial tone to hide his wariness. Relax, I am friend from another world. I am looking for people to fight a threat that could end worlds, and I am looking for the locations of these threats as they are a nomadic race. Have you heard of the name Otsutsuki? Aliens with horns, pale skin and strange eyes are a giant tree that sucks the life out of a planet. Naruto asked honestly as he had judged Peter to be a trustworthy person as the aura around him told him. It was an improvement of his Sage Mode ability that used to tell him when people had negative desires towards him. Now the world would help identify whether a person was good or not. Listening to Naruto's words, Peter was alarmed as that sounded terrible, but he was unsure whether the man was just playing with him or telling the truth. Sadly, he didn't have such ability. I will need to inform this encounter to the Avengers and Fantastic Four if I want some results. Sorry, I have never heard of such things, but maybe my friends could help you. They are much stronger than me, older than me, and some are smarter than me. These kinds of topics are things that they deal with, not me. Is that so? Naruto saw the images flash inside Peter's head, so he knew how the people looked like and remembered them. This is how 2 of the members looked like. Keep the picture just in case you come across such people. Don't mess with them and leave without a word or your death would be swift. A casual swipe of their hands would erase the city. Naruto warned as he formed a picture of Kagaya and Ishiki using creation of all things. Thanks for the warning. Do you want me to show you the way or you can find them? Peter felt better about the man as he heard more about this threat. I will look around a bit on my own before meeting your friends, but I won't mind if they come and find me. Also there is a building on fire 20 kilometers from here with people inside, so see you later, Peter. Almost forgot, my name is Naruto. With those words, Peter found himself teleported above the burning building where the fire was without any heat. Definitely out my league. Dear, did you get anything from him? Hinata asked as she stood behind. Naruto had kept her hidden so Peter hadn't seen her the whole time. There was some useful information, but we can only confirm it through our own eyes. Naruto replied as he passed the information to his partner that extended her hand towards him when he was drowning in darkness from the actions he had taken. The weight of the lives had taken a toll on his soul, but her warmth had soothed him and healed him back to full power. She had showed him undying love, she showed the way to love himself and work towards his happiness for no costs. She had been selfless from the start and would have happily let him have someone else if it was what he desired. Hinata was the first person not connected to his parents that had actually cared for him so much, not even his other friends had really cared to this extent. They had given up easily because of some harsh words, but Hinata had taken them without a problem and broken through. She had made him fall in love. She had made him understand what true love meant and he was never letting her go. They were married but no children yet because of this war. Naruto didn't want his children to live in such a world and he had already planned this day, so he would have to leave them at such a young age. Holding her hand, Naruto flew over the city and stopped at a public park in a place hidden by trees as he felt an overwhelming presence. Is it a threat? Hinata asked through the mental link. No. Naruto waited for the observer to arrive as he could tell it would be troublesome to escape. Thank you for not escaping, but I am curious about the why. Naruto saw a man walk out of space like it was normal and talk to him in a calm manner. It was a first in a long time as he felt no fear from this man. The man was wearing strange clothes with a red cape, he had black hair and mustache. No problem. Why should I escape? Am I guilty of something? Naruto replied with a question. He was nonchalant about meeting this strong being as he felt no fear. The reason he mentioned was true, but not the only one as he could tell that the man could follow him easily through dimensions and might even track him down, after which a battle would be inevitable, and Naruto could actually feel the threat of losing. He is strong and has large reserves of some energy and even has some connections that I can't trace down. So he can get even more powerful by asking for power. I apologize if I offended you, but I am quite used to criminals coming to our worlds as it's rare for us to have peaceful visitors for some reason. I understand, so is there anything I should know? I am quite free, so how about you accompany me and show me around? My name is Naruto, what is yours? Also I am curious about your power. Naruto said as he made a seat for the 3 of them from Earth. Doctor Strange is what I am known as, and I will have to decline your request. I am a busy man, Naruto, so I cannot indulge in such things at the moment, so maybe next time. I am just glad that you are not a criminal from what I have gathered, but I will warn you regardless of that since people change and hide their true colors. I can find you easily and defeat you. I am not alone, there are countless beings here, and if an outsider makes a mess all of them take offense, so avoid making trouble as things can get worse than you can imagine. Strange said in a calm manner, hiding his curiosity as he felt nothing when Naruto made those seats. It was natural, like they existed there. I have no problem with that, and I hope we can meet again, but first I need to ask you if you know anything about a race called the Otsutsuki. Naruto replied as he got up as the seats merged back into the earth and shared the information. Strange shook hands with Naruto and stared at him when he heard that news. He had been expecting to leave happily after having a peaceful visitor, and then he heard such bullshit. Something is definitely wrong with this world. Strange was starting to think that this world was meant to be destroyed, which was why so many events took place. Moving on from grumblings, Strange thought about the topic to see if he had any information. I remember seeing something like this before in a book, but would not to check it again since it was a casual glance. Thanks for the warning, and I will see if we can work together later or not, since I have another problem to take care of. With those words the man vanished. Naruto looked at his hand and smirked. It was the first time someone dared to put a tracking seal on him after so long. Strange might be mysterious and using unknown energy, but it was impossible to do anything to his body without his knowledge, especially since his eyes could see energy. The seal was absorbed by his body as Naruto had his mind analyze the energy, and he took flight once again. Let's see if he can do the same to my gift. Naruto chuckled as he left something more than just a tracker. Is it okay to share this information? Hinata asked as she flew beside him. The people I am sharing it with have great morals and powers, so I am just planting some seeds. It won't hurt us in any way since we want them to come to us as. Hinata nodded as she decided to keep watch of their surroundings as they flew and note down anything out of the ordinary. She had been acting as Naruto's partner for a long time so he didn't have to ask. All kinds of data was being gathered and recorded into her device through her mind, the infrastructure and body structure of the people, Peter, Strange and some other unusual beings on the way. Naruto flew at a slow pace to take in the sights. He was in a new world, so a lot of the things were different. Everywhere he passed, any criminal doing something wrong was stuck to the ground, and anyone that had broken his rules had their lives snuffed out. Naruto didn't have to make it flashy as he knew people will annoy him too much and he wasn't ready to take on the world yet. He was on mission so he will deal with it later, so for now, he was fine with just giving them natural deaths such as heart failure. We have come across so many different kinds of people so easily, I wonder if I can recruit someone with a powerful ability. Naruto mused as he floated through the clouds. He had traveled a lot and it was night already. It was just a thought and would help his quest, but wasn't central to his plans to defeat the enemies, since he had planned from the start to use his own power and the power of his people. The fact that this world had strong people with good heart was an added bonus. Flying for so long, Naruto was unsure how far he had traveled, but cities had been passed, so he reckoned a lot of distance had been covered. Naruto was floating over a lake where he could see a small building where young adults were having some fun. A dance party was going on and loud music was blaring, and the participants were getting it on except some of them. Naruto's eyes were attracted to a girl that was alone, outside on the deck. She was an attractive girl with auburn hair with a streak of white and green eyes. She was wearing long-sleeved green blouse over a black halter top, a short black leather skirt, and black leggings. She wore thick combat boots and dog collars around her neck and wrists. She is not human. Her power must have something to do with touch. Naruto analyzed without reading her mind as he could see her wearing gloves. She is alone and feeling out of place, reminds me of the old times. Let's see if we can bond and if I can help her out. Naruto thought as he realized that he talked a lot inside his mind, it had become a habit. It's okay, it ain't hurting anyone. Naruto thought and decided to talk with the girl while Hinata watched over them. Naruto dived down and revealed himself as he got close, while he made sure no one saw them. He made it so that everyone only saw the girl just mindlessly staring out into the lake. Rogue was watching the night sky and ignoring the music that rang inside the hall. She had been trying to blend into society after her recent escape from home, as her aunt had been overbearing. It was the reason she took on the name Rogue, but she wasn't feeling the adventurous vibes anymore as she realized she could never touch anyone without hurting them. It was a fact that she realized when she kissed a guy that she liked some time back and the guy was still stuck in a coma. Will I really have to live wearing such uncomfortable clothes and avoiding contact from everyone? Even I want to feel the touch of a loved one without fearing for their life. Why am I so different? Why couldn't I have been normal instead of being a freak of nature? Who said you are a freak? You are just a kid that's confused. Naruto muttered as he heard her thoughts since they were very loud. Rogue was shocked at the voice in front of her, which prompted her to back off and almost made her fall as she screamed in shock. The night was cold and then lake was filled with noise while the barrier blocked the scream Rogue let out. Relax, I won't harm you. Naruto said as he made sure she didn't fall and floated into a standing position safely. Rogue felt embarrassed at the fact she acted like a damn child and decided to ignore that small episode. Someone like me, or is he an alien? Unfortunately, I am an alien, but it doesn't mean that I don't understand your pain. Are you reading my mind? And what do you know about my pain? Rogue was not someone that backed down even against invincible odds, so she acted like it was a normal thing. She felt annoyed as she heard the same words, along with the fact the man was violating her privacy. Let's sit down and talk, it will be much better for you. Talking is a good way for lowering stress and all the negative mojo. Naruto replied in a gentle tone, and with a thought the wood extended from the pier and 2 chairs were made along with a table in between. I have a bad habit of reading people's mind, as you should understand. People are hardly trustworthy and some don't know how to articulate their ideas well, so I have to use this ability to avoid any problems. We can argue about this later, but first let's tackle your problem. Naruto put his elbows on the table and looked at her, waiting for her to sit. Rogue didn't know what to feel about this unusual event, but she felt it was much better than standing alone or being with those people. It was scary, but she knew resistance was futile unless someone came and saved her. Maybe I can, no. No. Rogue was about to devise a plan to absorb Naruto's power, but she felt the thought process was repulsive and shuddered. Those are your powers, so don't fear it and learn to control it. I understand your position. I really do, as there was once a time where if I went into a hissy fit, the world would be in danger. See, now your problems don't look so big in comparison. Naruto said in a calm tone and chuckled as he tried to act like his old self. I don't think that was funny. Please tell me, you don't have that problem. Rogue sat down and asked in a worried tone. She ignored people and was annoyed at them, but that didn't mean she desired destruction. Of course not, it is an old problem, which is why I am telling you about it. So you think it would make sense if I said I couldn't control my power after training, but you should still try to use it. Rogue nodded and sighed in relief. She was starting to feel some life in her mind from this exchange, as most people didn't treat her well, and she felt uncomfortable in their presence. Rogue wasn't stupid, so she could tell, some of it was just in her head. You were going to talk about understanding pain. Ah, yes. Let us get back on track and let me start. I do understand your pain, as I can literally feel it if I wanted. I have an experience of being shunned much worse than yours and have experienced more pain than you can imagine, but even I can understand there are people much worse, so I live on, as it would make me a coward and a disappointment if I fell from such things. Words are hard to trust, especially from strangers, so let me show you proof. Naruto talked in a slow and active manner, not realizing that he had been using chakra with his voice. His voice mesmerized Rogue, along with the powerful but gentle aura she felt as he talked to her. Rogue wasn't used to superpowers yet, and nor did she know how to fight against these effects. She was lucky Naruto was a nice person and wasn't interested in taking advantage of her. Even though she was in a daze, Rogue reacted once Naruto tried to hold her hand. She had deep trauma about this subject, which caused the weak effect to disappear. Rogue quickly took distance and stared at him warily. Don't touch me. Sorry for doing that, I underestimated the shadows of the mind. But relax, you cannot affect me with your power. I can block it. Naruto muttered in a soothing tone, as he did feel it was rude of him to ignore such a thing. He had gotten used to people following all his commands. It was a new experience going back down from the throne and being a normal person. Rogue looked at his extended hand and down to her own covered hand. She was hesitating since she was afraid to lose herself, as her powers allowed the absorption of memories and physical capabilities, along with skills. The last time it happened, she was acting like her crush without even realizing, and it made her afraid of being taken over, along with the fact that her powers hurt anyone she touched. Should I do it? He doesn't seem bad, maybe it is the truth. Maybe he can help me. Rogue thought, and her mind was moving the positive side even though she was a pessimistic person. Naruto only smiled as he waited for her hand. He knew she couldn't resist, as he made sure of it. Naruto didn't mind if she felt anything negative for him if she was cured of her problems. Rogue took off her gloves slowly and moved closer hesitantly, and Naruto decided to take her hand before she could get to him. She had closed her eyes, like it would make anything bad invalid. This brought a smile to his face as he saw her as a cute little child. You can open your eyes now, the world is still running, and I am still standing perfectly fine. Naruto muttered with a smile as he held her hand tightly as he blocked her powers from absorbing his strength with his own absorbing powers. Both their abilities cancelled each other out, but Rogue's ability was automatic while Naruto was holding it back consciously. Very dangerous, that was what Naruto thought of this ability, as it had barely been awakened yet and seemed so powerful. Rogue opened her eyes and saw that he was fine. She felt the warmth from his hand and felt that she had missed contact for so long as she couldn't remember how it felt. It brought a smile to her face, but also brought the question. How many abilities does he have? Is he going to be danger? Why is he helping me? Oh shit. Rogue mused and realized she was sitting across a mind reader and looked at him with an awkward smile. Haha, you are really adorable, aren't you? Naruto couldn't help but laugh. He felt a bit more relaxed now. He felt happy helping the girl and it was a nice experience, but he preferred talking with people of age, as they had experience in many things, while children were still too emotional. He knew that was a jab at his past tendencies, so he pretty much dismissed people that were like him on instinct. Don't treat me like a child, I am an adult. Rogue complained as she felt that he was looking down on her from his mannerism. Sorry, a force of habit. But do you feel better now? Naruto replied as he let go of her hand. Rogue looked down at her naked hand in a daze. She could tell that something was weird about her thought process. He must have pushed her into it, but she wasn't feeling much dislike for him, except some annoyance as he was overstepping his bounds, but it was for the good, so she didn't know what to feel. She felt happy, but then realized that she was still stuck with this problem and could only touch this guy, and Rogue didn't think it would be a good idea to stick with him all the time. Thanks for helping me, but can you help me beyond this? Rogue stood and looked at him, hoping for a miracle as this was her only clue. What kind of help do you need? Do you want to train your powers and be someone special or lose them and become mediocre? Naruto asked in a calm tone. He wanted her to voice her opinion. Rogue stared blankly for a minute as she thought through this dilemma, but finally decided on keeping them as she knew becoming normal meant hardly any choice when in danger. I want to know how to use my power without losing control. Excellent, I am happy with your choice. But even though I accept your request, I am not really knowledgeable on your power, so we will have to experiment. Absorb from me. Naruto replied with a jovial tone as he caught her hand and looked at her eyes. The atmosphere had lost its gloomy touch since Naruto appeared with his bright aura. It had started affecting Rogue, and she was swept with the flow as the aura healed the pain in her soul and brought some closure as she felt that he understood. She nodded to his words and Naruto stopped blocking. It was careless action, and Naruto quickly stopped it. Rogue was overwhelmed by the energy she absorbed and the link that formed between her and Naruto. She could feel the overwhelming love that he held within his heart for the world, the darkness that was lurking deep within, and it started affecting her mindset as she saw his memories. Love, love, I want to be loved. Rogue felt her heart tighten as she felt Naruto's effect on her personality, and her power was going haywire. The chakra she absorbed would have destroyed the peer if not for Naruto's intervention. Naruto quickly caught her and erased the memories that were his along with the emotions that didn't belong to Rogue. He understood a bit more about her power and could tell it would be too dangerous if she absorbed someone with very strong emotions or will at this stage of her power. Are you okay now? Naruto asked in a gentle tone, he was worried he might have hurt her too much. Huff, huff. Rogue breathed heavily as she felt her mind and heart calm down. Now that the problem was taken care of, she could feel the enormous power in her body. She felt invincible and capable of jumping into space. I am fine, Rogue muttered as she avoided talking about what she had just felt from those memories. It was also very awkward as she felt weird feelings for him now. Is his heart filled with rainbows and ponies? I am glad, and next time, we won't have this problem, so don't worry. But for now, how does it feel? Naruto helped her up and could sense she had absorbed enough chakra to be a Chunin within a second because his reserves were enormous. At the moment it would have been disastrous for Rogue if she had absorbed half his power, as she might have lost herself and become a clone of Naruto. I feel powerful, like I could fly and do anything I want. Rogue replied in a childlike tone as she was mesmerized by the power. That's good, and I am happy that you are feeling happy, but don't let it cloud you and always analyze where you stand factually, not depending on feelings, as it will lead to mistakes. Naruto warned as he understood the feeling. He had felt invincible when he had combined with Kurama, but then was trashed by Obito. Naruto's words pushed her out of the daze, and she nodded, I understand. Good girl, let's relax now and eat something. We will continue later. Naruto said as he held her hand and flew along with her towards the city. The incident hadn't gone unnoticed as one bald man with a machine had caught onto Rogue's signal. Charles Xavier, a mutant that wants to help the poor children and give them place in the society. Charles was a very strong mutant with telepathic power, but unfortunate as he was unable to walk without assistance. Even then he never stopped and has made sure to work towards his goal tirelessly. Charles felt the strong signal and could feel that the target was danger to others and herself. He took of the helmet and turned to Jean Grey, his assistant and a powerful mutant. Professor, what did you find? Jean asked in a wary tone as she felt that Charles was sweating a bit here more than usual. A mutant with a powerful ability but no control. Jean, I need you to go with Kitty and Kurt. Charles said as he turned to Jean and stared, leaving the room. Anything I should be careful of? Don't let her touch you. Charles warned as that was the memory that stood out sharply to him. I will be careful. Jean replied calmly, while hoping that it will be a nice person, as most mutants that she encountered had been hardened by the lives they lived. But these men weren't the only ones interested, as the servants of Magneto were on the move. Rogue's foster mother, Irene Adler, had just contacted Mystique. Irene was confused as she had been unable to see this phenomenon clearly. She couldn't tell what actually happened, but knew that Rogue had absorbed a lot of power, and it was time for Rogue to join her path, as she was old enough. Raven, be careful, there is something strong on the loose. What is it? I can't see it, so be careful and don't be hasty. Irene warned as she was worried for her partner. I am always cautious, and did you see my death or something? No, but I am not sure since this force is affecting my ability. Okay, just relax and wait for good news. Raven replied and hung up, leaving Irene to put down the phone and walk to her seat. How is the taste? Naruto asked as he cooked some deer that he had stored in his seal. Hinata had wanted to cook for them, but he wanted to relax and let her enjoy his pampering. He had trained non-stop for too long and would have gone crazy if she wasn't present to keep his mind in focus. The chances of multiple personalities forming or him going insane had been high. It was the reason he hadn't allowed anyone else to use this method. If anyone was going to sacrifice himself, then he was enough. They couldn't afford to lose any firepower, so he had risked his very being to stand at the top. Naruto didn't show, but his mind was a field of insanity, and only his willpower and Kurama kept him in check or he would get broken. He had let clones exist for too long, and they had formed opinions that clashed. Slowly this started becoming a problem. As thousands of memories were being added to his mind, even if they were one by one, it was too much when done for so long. He was glad that Kurama managed to keep him sane, or they might have to lock him until the battle needed his presence. That would be an interesting situation according to Naruto, but not a preferable one since he liked his mind in one piece. Moving on from the heavy topic about his insanity, the trio was in a forested area, under the night sky. The atmosphere was nice and the nature made him feel at home. Naruto had used his control of nature to make a wooden table and chairs, then started cooking using his homeworld ingredients, while giving some snacks and drinks to Rogue. He didn't hurry and moved at normal human speed to enjoy the experience as he did for most things. He didn't need to eat, breathe or sleep, but he did all of these for enjoyment and force of habit. It made him feel human, and leaving these things would further separate him from his own people. They could survive without breathing until they had chakra, but he didn't even need air to survive, as he was pure energy being wrapped in human flesh by this point. The growth of power had led to this mutation, plus the absorption of a Shiki had sealed the deal. He had devoured an immortal being and become one himself, so he could say one of his titles was Immortal Slayer. He had gained a lot by absorbing a Shiki, especially the eyes called the Dharma Chakra, the 8-spoke Dharma wheel. It's nice, I think it might be the best I have ever tasted. Rogue replied as she ate fruits and crackers while sipping on some juice that she couldn't identify by look or smell. I expected some freaky alien cuisine. Haha, that's some weird image you have there. I don't think any human-looking species eat such stuff. Naruto chuckled as he saw the image of worms and other weird stuff that Rogue must have gotten from movies. Though I did eat worms, I am never sharing that with anyone. A bad memory indeed. Can you please try not to peek? I very much like my privacy, and now you already know me. Rogue asked with a sigh as she looked at his back. She felt that he was powerful but a nice person from their short talk, but he had his flaws. He didn't seem to listen to people and like to interfere with others on a whim or because he actually liked to help. On the other hand, his partner was out of this world beauty that was just enchanting, her eyes just took the breath out her and almost made her change her sexuality. The woman was his wife and looked like a kind person coming from high birth as it was just in her mannerisms. Her voice was charming, and Rogue felt none of the judgmental tone in it. The duo was a couple with opposite personality features, she could tell from one glance, but their love was genuine. This was the first time she had actually seen such a couple and not the horny teenage types. Dear, you shouldn't intrude on her mind. Hinata also reminded him since it had been a habit to judge people. It was one of his many abilities learned from others to become the perfect fighter, and King learned from the Yamanaka clan. Sorry, turning off the mind reader now. You will love this and it's great for your health. No mortal has ever tasted this dish ever, so I will have to help to digest it as it contains a lot of energy. Naruto said in an excited tone as he brought the dish and placed it in the center while giving a kiss to Hinata's cheeks and sitting down. The smell was so enticing that Rogue felt the desire to gobble it all up. Her mouth was literally watering at the sight and smell. Her eyes couldn't look away and she was about to jump in when Naruto interfered. Naruto was really happy seeing the reaction as she acknowledged his skills, so he cut away the effect and reinforced Rogue with his own power so she could handle eating the stuff. It was not something normal and it roamed in space in herds, a creature of the great unknown. It was large as the tallest mountain and more powerful than the Biju physically, except that it didn't have much energy compared to them and was being a physical might. Rogue was embarrassed at her conduct but mystified as she was having such magical experiences in a single day. Maybe shit will hit the fan today or something because a day cannot be so good. We have some guests here that want to meet you, Rogue. Naruto said with an amused smile, causing her to tense up and look around. What do they want? Good evening and apologies for the intrusion, we are here to meet you Anna and help you. We are same as you, mutants. A woman with red hair wearing tight-fit black clothing with a red X on it walked into sight. Rogue eyed the woman and her companions, especially the alien-looking one as he stood out. She then looked towards Naruto who smiled at her, it is your choice, and these kids aren't bad. But the one hiding in the shadows is closer to you, but also not suitable. His words alarmed Jean, and she sensed for anyone around her, she had been careless as her attention had been taken by the man sitting with the new mutant. He was powerful and she could feel that she was prey in front of a giant beast. Raven wanted to curse, everything she had planned was moot point at this juncture. She was intending to impersonate the X-Men and invite hate towards them, but Rogue ended up sitting with that man. I am coming out, Raven announced as she walked into the clearing and stood few feet away from Naruto and Jean. Auntie Rogue called out in shock as it was someone she hadn't expected to see here. Anna, I am happy that you are okay. I was worried when I felt that you had absorbed someone's power. Raven muttered in a soothing tone, showing care. It was partly genuine as she had taken care of Rogue for a long time and mostly manipulation. I am okay, but why are you here? I am working for a mutant organization so I wish for you to join us. Raven replied without informing everyone her rank nor did she resort to name-calling the other team. We are from the Xavier Institute for Gifted Youngsters, where you will find people similar to you and learn to control your powers safely. Jean pitched in to speak up for her team as she realized they were on the weaker front. Rogue looked from one to the other, but couldn't really tell whom to join. If she went with her feelings, then her aunt was the safe bet as the other woman was a stranger. Why are you not working together? What's the difference between you two? Rogue asked as she needed more information to make her choice as the offer was enticing, as she desired to be among those who will accept her completely. Jean walked closer and spoke up, we strive to help our kind, but we also help humans. We do not consider ourselves to be above humans and see them as inferior. Our aim is to help the needy and live in coexistence with the humans. You can come and have a look, it is a school and not a prison. The choice to leave will always be there. Rogue heard her words and looked at Raven. From what she understood, her aunt's group was one of those types. There is nothing wrong in thinking we are a superior species. The time for humanity to stay at the top has come to an end, and it is our time to prosper. We do not act without being attacked by these humans, there is no gain in pointless conflict, but they hate us and fear us. Joining them would lead you to risking your life for those who would kill you if they had the chance. Our group may be supremacist but it is safer than theirs, and we do not intend to cause havoc unless it is for survival and self-defense. Both groups have their problems and dangers, so don't think one is safer. The X-Men have been attacked before and lost children, while the other group has also lost members while doing questionable things. The X-Men are much more inclined towards the good while your aunt not so much, but don't hate her for that as humans shaped her to be like this. Now you should choose or delay since it is getting late. Naruto joined in to help her have a better picture. Jean and Raven looked towards him in surprise, wondering how he knew such details. Charles isn't the only one who can read minds. Jean realized that they had failed to take such possibilities into account. We will need to rectify this problem soon, or we might have problems on hand. Can I stay with you? Rogue turned to Naruto and asked as she didn't really feel safe anymore about those choices. Well, this couple had shown kindness without expecting anything. They were powerful and showed capability to show her the way. Okay, but it will be good to go study with other mutants, so you will be learning with the X-Men and coming back home to my place before evening. Naruto replied nonchalantly as Hinata also agreed to his thought since it wasn't a problem to help her out while they were here and she might join them if she desires as Naruto could see potential for greatness. Rogue had expected him to refuse as it was kind of a big request and hearing his answer put a big smile on her face for a moment before she went back to the neutral expression. Thank you, no problem, it helps having some company from this generation. Naruto muttered as he stood up, which caused them to tense up. You can leave now as she has chosen her place. Know that I do not have any animosity with you, but I do not accept wrongdoings, so it will be better for you to stop such a destructive path. I will help you and can help you if it is something that does not harm others. I know you have gone through things much worse than I have, but I can understand what you feel, which is why you are still standing. I will give you all an option, consider leaving this world. I can send you to another world, though it has 10 times the gravity of this world, so you will have to work on that, or I end up erasing you for breaking my rules. Naruto spoke slowly and confidently, it was a viable choice, but not one they would consider as mutants will continue to be born, while his warning sent chills down their spines. Showing that they weren't talking with one of those casual powerful beings, but someone who took part in the lives of other beings. We will think about it and thank you for taking care of my child. Raven replied as she walked away. Should I or should I not tell her that her son is standing there? Raven walked away cautiously disappearing into the city, constantly changing forms to lose anyone that might have followed. She entered a hotel room and closed the door behind her as she controlled the annoyance, it was frustrating. Such a failure, how can I fix this? Raven thought as she sat down on the sofa. Rogue was a talent and a powerful mutant that had many uses, even with her limited experience, she could have taken out a lot of X-Men easily. I like how you are so cautious Raven, but I hope you don't trouble us. I really don't like hurting people, and I can easily give you a place to live safely. Raven jumped back in shock and took out her gun and shot Naruto in one single motion. The bullets were erased before they even touched Naruto, as he wasn't the type to let things hit him, even when they did nothing. Relax, I am not here to end you, but to inform you of something important. Naruto indicated with his hand for her to sit down. Raven stared at him and resisted her urge to bolt as she could tell it was futile to run. His words did disarm her, but she could tell he meant that he disliked it but would kill if forced. I am listening Raven muttered as she slumped into the sofa, she was tired mentally from all this nonsense. Well you can think about working for me later after you have discussed with Magneto so take this card, you can contact me through it. As for the important info, it is about your son with Azazel. He is alive and was the kid with Jean that had blue skin. Naruto said as he threw a card at her and then showed her an hologram of Kurt, so she understood clearly as she would have been in a state of combat at the scene. Raven looked at Kurt as she remembered her short love life, with the count that she killed and the affairs she had with Azazel, along with many other men to conceive a child. She had lived long and wanted to feel like a mother of a strong mutant. She had been weakened during childbirth, and humans had tried to hunt them both. Raven remembered dumping her child down the river inside a basket as she was weak and wouldn't have been able to protect him. She passed out after that and didn't remember the details as she had spent time searching for her child and only to result in nothing. Naruto stared at her, looking deep within. He was disgusted by her acts for betrayal which caused him to recoil, but he held it in. Kill the harlot, kill this scum and cleanse the world of her kind. Naruto held his head and his eyes were glowing gold. Naruto, focus on my voice and close of your abilities. Kurama's warning rang inside as he had gone too deep and activated his judgment mode, and he had judged her evil. So many deaths lay at her feet, so many betrayals in her past can no justify it as she had already lived for a long time. He saw Raven hold her hand to her heart and cry tears of joy. This wouldn't have happened normally, but Naruto's presence affected others to be positive and take him as a friend. Seeing the scene, his mind calmed down and the thoughts were forgotten. He would kill, but he was willing to give second chances to people that had a heart and were willing to change for the better. So you do have some maternal love. Raven wiped her tears and looked at him. She didn't know what he wanted, but if he had shown her this then there must be more. Will you let us meet? Don't you think it would be better if you met when you have become someone respectable? Do you think he will listen to you or accept you now? He has grown up and matured through a harsh environment, so don't think he will be easy. Naruto explained so that she would consider her position and not try to convince to join them. Raven looked ahead. She could tell if she said now then he will take her there, but she already could guess how it would go. Not so family-oriented reunion. Thank you, I hope you can grant me this request at a later date. No problem, I don't like it when children are separated from their parents in such a manner. Do remember, change or receive an end that is worse than death. Naruto stood up and closed the distance between them and flicked her forehead. See you again, Raven. Naruto muttered as he vanished. Raven looked at the spot where he had been and analyzed what had transpired today. The day was a total mindfuck. He looks really dangerous and has too many unknown powers. Can we even control him or tone down his nosiness, or should we consider his help? Raven mused into the night as these questions would decide their paths. In the forest, the real Naruto was standing beside Rogue as they talked to his men. Hope you are okay with this arrangement. Naruto asked Jean. We don't mind, it is her choice and being with you is safe for her. But do you know the way? Yes. Jean realized that he was just reading them again. Will I need to be there for the registration or do I send her in the morning alone? Naruto asked for clarification. She can come alone. Good, before we take our leave. I have something to talk to you about. Naruto walked forward indicating for her to follow, while the rest for the gang stayed back. Jean was curious about what he needed as it seemed important and this time she felt the surrounding change a little bit. The barrier. This has to do with you so I don't want anyone to hear. Naruto clarified. About me? Jean was starting to feel nervous now. What was he about to share that he had to share to it so secretly? Relax, it isn't something bad, but if left unattended it could get harmful. Your powers are stronger than you expect, and the reason it is weak now is because of a seal inside your mind. I think it might be because of a trauma, and Charles is helping you take it slow, but now you are older and have understanding, so if you want to awaken it, I will help you out. Your mentor is cautious, and sometimes being very cautious is not a good thing. In this kind of life, there are times when you need to take risks. You understand, don't you? Jean understood what he meant as she was living a dangerous life where power was a requirement, but she never expected such a thing. What kind of trauma? How powerful is my original level? I will speak with Charles and get back to you. Thank you for informing me, I really appreciate it. Jean replied in a grateful tone, and the duo walked back where Team Naruto bid them farewell, before teleporting to the home his clone had purchased. Jean was an Omega-level mutant, but her powers had been restricted by Charles in her childhood days. She didn't remember this detail and had become weak compared to what she should have been. Her growing power was a threat to everyone around her if she didn't control it. Naruto allowed Rogue to go to her adopted mother's house for the night, assuring her of the safety while he sat in the house with Hinata. Naruto sat in the study as he stared through the window at the starless sky. Was there something special about Jean? Yes, I felt her power was good enough to contend with Toneri when he first appeared. Maybe she has a great destiny awaiting her in the near future. Naruto commented as he took the hot choco that Hinata put on the table. Naruto commented such as people with great power always ended up in such situations. He had yet to see an exception, and Jean had that kind of personality, so it was inevitable. On the other hand, Hinata was surprised as Toneri had the power to destroy the planet with his newly awakened powers, meaning Jean could replicate his moon crushing the Earth plan. This world has been surprising since the first moment. I am wondering how much more can we expect and if that is good for us or not. Hinata spoke thoughtfully as she was unsure how to take this day's findings. They could be taken positively and negatively. Let's not worry about things we do not know and take care of what we know. Partner, how's my mind now? Naruto sipped his tasty treat and turned to the fluffy golden fox that appeared on his shoulder. It was the right size to be called the most adorable thing ever. I should smack you with my tails for that stupidity. I warned you yesterday not to make clones, but what did you do, make a bloody clone? Kurama grumbled as he hit Naruto with his tails, almost making him drop the cup. Dude, I am drinking here. Okay, I am sorry. It was just a force of habit. I had made the clone before I realized it. You know how I don't even need signs anymore. Thoughts are harder to control, you know. Naruto said honestly as he looked at Kurama's serious look and Hinata's shining gaze. She was not happy with his words. Holding her hand, he tried to calm her down. You need to put the clone jutsu into the restricted list or you will end up going insane sooner or later. It has been useful, but now you don't need it anymore, so restrict it since you can't control yourself. Kurama suggested as he didn't want his brother-like figure to become insane on his watch. They had worked together and fought together, now they were joined together by souls. There was no bond more precious than this to Kurama, and he will never allow any harm to him, not even Naruto was allowed this privilege. Brother is right, dear please. Hinata also pleaded even though this jutsu was a major part of his fighting styles, but his health was much more important. He wouldn't become weaker by giving it up, and it would only introduce some limitations, making him do everything personally. They had come with the intention to take part in a dangerous battle where death was heavily implied, but this jutsu might even accelerate the process. She might lose her lover to madness before even death took him, and it crushed her heart. Every day she had to watch him fight against this problem for years, and now he was closer to the breaking point. This task was a blessing in some way as he had finally put the training down, since everything that needed to be done was done. Looking at her eyes that cried for him, the heart that felt pain for him and the love that overwhelmed him and resonated with his own heart, Naruto felt guilty and happy. Taking her into his embrace, he breathed in her presence and felt life burn within him. I have earned my love and for you, I shall lock it away for these tears do not suit your beautiful face. Smile for me and never let sadness mar your face. Naruto spoke gently as he cleared away the tears and kissed her forehead and eyelids. Kurama rolled his eyes at Naruto forgetting his existence when he got into that lover mode, but he also felt happy for them. It was already sad that he had to postpone his dream of having a family, so he wished nothing worse would happen. This might be dangerous, but Kurama hoped they came out of it alive, even if they were crippled. Disappearing like a wraith, Kurama went back to his living space inside Naruto's soul, where a world existed just for him. In this beautiful world filled with hope and love representing Naruto, there were parts that were marred with darkness, and the sky was fractured with cracks everywhere. It signified the damage done to his psyche through the continuous use of the shadow clone technique on such a large scale. Kurama sensed that Naruto had put a seal on his shadow clone technique, so they would have to remind him when the time was right, since Naruto forgot as his memory was sealed. If they fought carefully then Naruto might be healed completely and use it without any danger in the final fight. The problem was prolonged use, so during fights it wouldn't be a problem after a year as the damage was too much now. Kurama looked at the scene and relaxed as he released his power to cover up the cracks. His form towered everything, making mountains look tiny in comparison. Naruto wasn't the only one who had grown as Kurama had joined with his other half and mixed with parts of all the tailed beasts before devouring the Juubi under his shiki. Minato had made him half his power and it had taken him 12 years to heal his body back to full power. Joining with the other Kurama had made him double in power, making him stronger than ever, and joining other parts gave him even more, plus a list of skills. Kurama naturally became stronger than the Juubi just like that, and then he devoured the wild Juubi under his shiki after giving it food. Devouring it, Kurama doubled its power once again, and the power up this time was ever more insane, as the skills available to him were even more powerful. But that wasn't the end as Naruto was growing at an insane rate, especially since he had devoured a shiki, so the difference in power stayed the same. Kurama remained just an energy source for Naruto, so he embraced this duty and grew even more by devouring the energy from the sun. It was hard to grow his limits as the energy kept disappearing, but hard work came useful, he became even bigger, while his special skills became even more potent. Now his size was insane, he was 10% of the size of the moon, and he could grow instantly to the size of the earth and gobble up the moon. Brother, I will never any darkness affect your light. Kurama once again repeated his oath as his power covered up the world to heal the damage, while Hinata healed Naruto with her love. To be continued. If you enjoyed then remember to comment and like this video. See you in the next video.